I'm talking with Dr. Heather Evans, who is a licensed clinical social worker and has a counseling practice in Coopersburg. Glad to have you with us. We want to talk about anxiety and fear that people may be feeling in this time. We all can remember, Heather, 9/11 and the big events like that, and how we and everybody seem to feel after that. I guess anxiety is one of a few words you might use. Maybe just describe what that entails and why people would be feeling it.
Absolutely. I think 9/11 is a good comparison to the last historic event where we felt fear and anxiety on a systemic level. So right now, we're having so many fears of what could happen. And, we're created to have this built-in alarm system that goes off when there is a threat of danger. So we have this alarm, the amygdala, that hijacks our prefrontal cortex. And when that happens, we have all of our body kind of responding with a fight, flight, or freeze reaction. That's why we have increased heart rate, we might have shortness of breath, all of these things to respond to the alarm. But right now, we're going through a time with ongoing, repetitious alarm. And we're facing this real ongoing threat, and it's difficult for us because we're not used to experiencing that on such a long, ongoing level. It's not sustainable, and it also is hijacking that part of the brain that we need to be able to make good decisions, use good judgment, organize our time. So it's a difficult thing, and we're feeling it systemically.
Feel it in the emotions, I guess, and it's important to be honest with ourselves, I suppose, about what we are feeling.
Yeah, to add to that, I think this anxiety that we're feeling can be quite contagious. We look around us, maybe a time that you can think of is when you're going to the grocery store. You're seeing overflowing carts. You're seeing people with masks and gloves. It kicks in something like, should I be alarmed? Should I be concerned? We are also in tune with each other, and so some of this fear is quite contagious. And you're absolutely right. I think what's important is for us to name some of these emotions that we're experiencing, talk about the vulnerability and the uncertainty that we're experiencing, and connect with each other about it.
And maybe just run through a few tips we could keep in mind then. What do we do with our emotions, with the feelings we have in our bodies?
Absolutely. So I think if we're talking about fear, first of all, we have to know that there's an attitude of sobriety that's really important. We have a responsibility to our governing leaders. We have a responsibility to our fellow citizens to do everything we can to protect the spread of this virus. That being said, we have not been told that we should be governed by fear. So we have to first look at what are the things that are feeding our fears rather than fighting the virus. So one way that we can kind of manage our emotions, particularly our fear, is to think about, okay, how often am I checking social media? How often am I watching the news? Perhaps I need to limit my exposure. Perhaps I need to change the notifications on my phone so I don't get as many frequent updates. Perhaps I need to rely on a family member to kind of update me on what's going on. We can control and manage the input that might be actually feeding the fears. Another thing that we can do is manage what's going on in our bodies physiologically. Exercise is really important. Taking slow, deep breaths, any kind of movement that will calm and relax our bodies down. Laughter, taking a break from just all of the input about the virus and doing something that will make us laugh. Music is something else that can kind of calm the body down. Something else that's within our control that can help to manage our fear and anxiety is how we think, what we're thinking about. We can reframe our thoughts to think about what is helpful and true and productive rather than what is catastrophic. We can distract ourselves with things that fill our mind with what is peaceful and what is beautiful and life-giving. We can focus on what we do know and what we can manage and control rather than what is out of our control.
Good thoughts. Thank you so much for that. I wish we had more time, but that is a lot to digest even right there, and very helpful. Dr. Heather Evans, thank you so much.
Thank you.